Welcome to Louisiana Heartbeats. I'm Cindy Landry, and this is the month of December. So we're closing out for the year and getting ready to start a brand new year. And here at KDN Open Channel, there's going to be so many different kind of shows that I plan on doing. And I want to feature so many different kinds of people that some of the times wonder around the world we find out. How do we meet people to come on the show? Well, number one, I am the president of the Writing School of Acadiana, and so therefore I get to meet some wonderful people there. It's a writing organization where people meet the last Tuesday of every month, and we get together and we see what's going on, what people are writing about. And as a television host, naturally, I want to go to different events so that I can find out what's going on out there. And so I said that to say this, and I want to welcome Neil Bertrand, local publisher out of Lafayette, Louisiana, sitting with me at the table today.
Hi, Sudi.
Hey, I think I've seen you before.
I've seen you too.
Did we go do some kind of event this past weekend or something?
Yes, we sure did.
Listen, Acadiana, the only way you're going to get out there, people who are authors, who are looking forward to telling people what your books are about, the only way you're going to get out there and let people know what's going on is get out there. It doesn't come like put itself on a shelf. It doesn't sell itself. And here at Acadiana Open Channel is just an open door for Neil and I to talk about why networking is so important. Okay, Neil, as a publisher who actually publishes books, what are some of the best advice that you can give? And let's kind of simplify it a little bit because we're going to talk about a whole lot of things. If a person has a good story and they really want to write a book, the question is, what's the first thing they need to do?
Well, if you want to write a book, if you have a good story, the first thing you need to do is type it out.
All right. Well, that's...
And I recommend Microsoft Word. Type in the whole manuscript into Microsoft Word. I can take that and we can flow that into pages to format it into what a book would be. You know, the different pages with page numbers, chapters, subheadings, and so on and so forth. And we can create a book. Well, my son, once he had all of the Word document and all the pictures, he did a book in 10 hours.
Okay. And
published. And so we can do the same thing.
Let me stop you right there because I want to break it down. I know you've been on before and we've talked about publishing. Now, I've learned there's a big difference between publishing your story, your book, and printing your book. You want to make that clear because a lot of people are sure spinning their wheels and spending a lot of money to turn around and have to do it again.
Good example is this. A long time ago, I wrote a book, and I said, wow, this is the best thing. This book needs to get out there, and so I had it printed by a print shop. And so all of the cases of books came in, but the world didn't know about it because it was just printed. It wasn't officially published and put into the publishing system.
Which is what?
For example, if you put it into the publishing system, you will have retailers such as Barnes & Noble, Amazon, that will know about your book and will be able to sell your book on their sites or in their stores. Okay?
So do they automatically mark it, or is that an extra step that a person has to line somebody up to pay them for?
Well, the simplest way that can be done would be to get your book into the Amazon system. That way Amazon would have your book on their site. Okay? And what is the key thing that a lot of people don't realize is every book that's published, officially published, needs an ISBN number with a barcode. And so the way that Amazon kind of pulls the wool over your eyes and say, hey, you don't need an ISBN number, let us supply one. We'll supply one for you.
Okay.
And they will, but that makes them the publisher of the book.
Okay, now that's something important, and we're not here to down Barnes & Noble because we're really fortunate to have them working with us.
Right.
But for the person out there that doesn't know the difference, which
if you don't know the difference, what in the world is an ISBN? And if they say, I don't need one, and they can provide me one, well, hey,
right,
it's free. But what you don't understand is that
Later.
later, they are the publisher, okay? And it makes a difference. So you want to be aware of who your publisher is and what your publisher can do. Because if you go with that system that I said, like using CreateSpace and Amazon, it may be difficult for you to get into other retail establishments.
But it can be done later. You're just going to have to turn around and pay some more money to get things taken care of.
Right.
That's what I wanted to clear up, because in the process of trying to promote authors and to giving them the accurate information, sometimes authors are taken advantage of, and it's because we don't know. I know in my book, my first book that I wrote, there's a lot of things I didn't know. I mean, my goodness, I even messed up on not sharing what the front cover was about, because they sure wouldn't tell you what the inside story was about.
Right.
So I didn't know anything about choosing the right cover. Also, I didn't realize that whenever I set a certain price, that I wasn't making any money. And now I understand why the person said, well, you're just a wonderful person. You just giving your books away.
Right.
And I literally was. But now as I'm learning different things, Neil, and I've been through different projects with you, and you're trying to educate people, you're giving them a choice, and then sometimes they go on their own and they find out the hard way later that you were kind of giving them the right information. But just because you're here and you're on television, your heart is my heart, and it's to get good stories out there so they will not get lost.
Right.
Now, because of that, if anybody wants any more information or you have any questions, you can always check out his website, and you can always send in that question, and he'll try to get you the answer. Now, I'm truly blessed, because it turns out he's not only a friend of mine, but he is now the publisher of my books, and I now have a website, and I've grown, and I'm learning, and so now I'm learning that I need to go a certain route to try to market my books, and that's what we want to share, why it's important to go to different events and not just say you're going to do something, but get out there and do something. So, Neil, let's talk about how important the event that we just attended in Thibodaux, Louisiana was. What did it mean to you, and how many authors are out there? I've got a list here, and I'm going to count it while you talk.
Okay.
All right?
Well, I went hoping to sell a lot of my books. The Thibodaux Library promoted it in the newspaper and through different avenues in their website, et cetera, et cetera. And I got there thinking I would sell a lot of books. I sold a few, not a lot. However, the best thing that came out of this was there was a guy there. You see, you never know who comes to these events.
That's right.
There was a guy there who was the buyer for the Nichols University Library. And so I was talking to him, and I said, here are my books. And he said, wow, yeah, I want this one and this one and this one. And so he bought some books from me, and if I wouldn't have gone, I would have never met him.
That's right.
Okay? Plus, I went through the room talking to everybody, and of course, Sudie did a much thorough job, and she got brochures, she got business cards.
Everybody. 16.
Give me what you got.
16.
So I got 2 business cards, and she got like 16. But it's important. In this networking age, this social media age, you can't be shy. You have to step out of your shell, even though it may be painful for you. If those of you who are painfully shy, step out of your shell. You cannot be a hermit and sell your book. Okay, so there were some interesting people there, and so it's the importance of networking with other people. Your little neighbor, a little girl next to you, was from Monroe, and Monroe, it's like a 5-hour trip from Monroe to Thibodaux, Louisiana, but she made that trip hoping to sell some books and meet people.
And while she was there, she got information to other links that she would not have known about.
You see, I call it open doors. I believe in open doors. You don't know what's going to happen when you step out of your house and go to an event. You don't know who you're going to meet. You don't know who they know. So it's not so much who you know, but it's who these people that you know, who they know. So it's a chain. Okay, one thing leads to another, right, Sudie?
That's right. That's right. That's right. And I'm glad that you brought that up because I was sitting there and this little girl had said, I want to get into this and I want to get into that. Now, if you're going to go to an event and you're going to just sit at your table and worry about just yourself, you're not going anywhere. Get up and go pay some respect to the other people at the event. Come back to your table or have someone monitor your table while you're gone.
Right.
And so, naturally, since I have this talk show, Louisiana Heartbeats, and naturally, since I love finding out what's going on, I'm going to get up right away and tell everybody about Louisiana Heartbeats. I'm going to find out what they're about. I'm going to pick up every card they have. And Neil, I have 16 people. Okay, that's 18 with us.
Right.
You and I were there too, of course. And I'm here to tell you, when I actually wrote down, I know what they told me as I went to each table, but it's whenever I wrote everything down from their cards that I'm totally blown away from the quality of new authors. And then some seasoned authors that were out there also.
Yes.
And also wonderful motivational speakers. There's one gentleman that got us so interested. What was he talking about? And I think his name was Jack Caldwell. Even though he wrote romance fiction and he's a male author, didn't he have some kind of unique networking group, or do I have the wrong name?
That's the guy that was way on the back
That's
end
right.
of the room.
It's his name's either Kurt Boudreau or he is Jack Caldwell, but I think it's Jack Caldwell.
I think it might be him. He has a number of books out, all novels, historical novels, and he belongs to a group that is like a co-op that they promote each other's books. And when they do advertising, it's a co-op event where everybody pitches in a little bit to pay for an ad, but the whole unit is promoted. It could be 20 authors in this co-op, but the whole co-op is being promoted.
You see, it's people like that that can help not only us, but other authors. And so also, too, I approached him. Let me just say this, Louisiana Heartbeats, I am booking every person that was at this event to come on Louisiana Heartbeats in the future shows you'll be seeing. That's not including some of the Saturday events that we're going to be booking. But I wanted to tell you while we're on the air that I'm getting responses from these people.
Okay.
And they're trying to book already.
Good.
And so I've got my 2017 calendar already filling up for just the shows to be done here.
Excellent.
But what I was interested in was sharing with Acadiana that not only, the different people, I want to just kind of share the genre and the variety of people that were there. Some were from the local area, and like Neil said, some drove 5 hours, some drove 2 or 3 hours. Some are willing to drive that 5 hours to come here because of what Acadiana Open Channel offers, this free platform to talk about what they're doing. Okay, so for example, we had some children authors out there, and their books were very basic. We had a Gail Atkins, and she's a children's author. We had a Diana Woods Riley. My gosh, she turned out to be a seasoned veteran plus a chef. And she's saying cooking with a purpose,
Right.
And then, of course, we had Jack Caldwell, who, it's rare, like he said. How often do you hear of a male romance fiction author?
Right.
It's usually women. So he has a lot to talk about, but he says that he's real excited. Then we have, of course, suspense authors, Geneva Williams, who was there. Then we had a crime writer, which I want to bring that up. B.J. Borg, people, crime writer. He is a retired policeman.
A crown writer.
Crime, like bad stuff. C-R-I-M-E.
Crime, okay.
Crime writer. And he is, I think, retired from the police force.
Okay.
Okay. Well, he gave some interesting information about a link that's very, something authors need to check out that help you market. Basically tell you, hey, tell people about your book and we'll help you out. And that was author Bub. Be like boy, you be like boy.
Book Bub.
Book Bub. I keep wanting to say author. Author, B-U-B. It's
Book Bub. And
Book Bub.
we went to that site last night, and it's for ebooks.
Okay, yeah, that's what I
It's
good.
for ebooks. So if you have like I have an ebook that sells for $9.95, well, they would want at least 50% discount given to their members, and they will spread the word about you around the world.
So that's a little different than what we're used to hearing about, so it's worth checking it out. And that's what it's about, authors, upcoming authors, is the fact that there's so many resources out there, but you just have to pretty well go to events to understand who's offering what, which one's working for the authors. And I was telling Neil here, that's something that maybe we need to check out. Also, we have, of course, the faith ministries that were out there, but not only were they sharing their faith, but they're also sharing their cookbooks and canning. And I went home and tried a couple of recipes, like bacon in a mason jar, and then you can seal that off. And wow, I love canning, but I'd never thought about bacon in a jar and actually pressuring it and keeping it and storing it. So,
Well, I love to eat canned stuff, so make some for me.
well, I made some, but that one I had to throw away because I put too much. But I have some pickles, though. I'll
like
share that
pickles.
with you, pickles. So, but I'm interested, and I'm amazed that this is antique canning. This is
Right.
canning. I didn't even know that you could put dessert in a jar. Okay, and save it for months and years to come. Then we had, of course, their local artist from Thibodeau that was there. Very, very nice lady. There was another children's author, Shirley Robinson. And, you know, Neil, we're always looking for illustrators. Our heart's local, but for some reason we're having problems finding local illustrators for children's books. Why? I wonder why.
Don't
They
know.
have some awesome out of country, out of state.
That's where I find mine.
Yeah, most people do. And that's what my heart is, to get more local artists to respond. If you don't respond to our requests, then we don't know you're out there.
3 of your book covers were done by a man in Serbia.
Yeah, like you said, and I love them, and they're all different, but when you specify what you want, like we don't know if he can even do children's books. We haven't had, by the way, you were talking about wanting children's books and needed to do a project and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, I think I do have a story or two maybe to hand over to you if you're in that big of a hurry.
Okay.
Okay, all right. Then we've got, listen, Mickey Pfeiffer, who was there, took time out of her day to come, and she was actually the winner of the 2015 Endora Welty Prize, some kind of big writing organization. I don't know anything about it, but everybody else seemed to know. And then we had Jamie Mays, who was also a motivational educator, author, and she herself has written a book. Now, Kurt Boudreau, he's more of the Cajun humorist, and he likes getting out there and he likes talking in the French language and stuff like that. But all of these people have written a book or more than one book. How many books you had out there about?
Me, on my table, I think I had 13.
Okay, 13 different titles? 13 different titles. And then, of course, I had 4 books on my table. And now I'm going to tell you this. No, I didn't sell any of my books, but I sure had a good time out there getting all these people lined up. Nothing's ever wasted. You connect with somebody. Now, since we said all of that, Neil, I had come back on the show because of the fact that if you don't know, if you're not, let's see, I have a member of the Writers Guild. He writes just for fun. He really doesn't care if he makes money or not. He does it just to see his name in print, I think, when he feels like it. He travels all over. He writes historical fiction. He will tell you out of his mouth. It's not about the money. It's just the fact that he is a retired teacher. He loves history, which is what he taught. And so he creates these novels, okay? Then you have people like me who don't know the difference, that when I just want to get it out there. I just want to tell the story. But later on, I realized, wait a minute. I don't want to just tell the story. It is a good story, but why do I want this book out there? In my case, the reason I want my books, and later we will be doing a show about that, out there is because my books are inspirational. They're all true supernatural encounters. You can find them if you're interested. More information, you can go to the website, check it out, and they'll tell you what each book is about. But my reason for writing my books is to encourage people that are out there that no matter what your story is, if you have a message and you want to share it, then you either need to print it, talk about it, or publish it. Mine, I started talking about it. Then people told me I needed to print it. So I started sharing manuscripts many years ago. And then he walks into a cooking contest where I was a judge and he was a judge, and that's how we connected. And he found out about my story. So then I've learned through the different steps of asking questions, what is the difference of publishing? Now, many, many years later, I wrote stories in 1970s. It's now 2000 going on 2017. And so now I'm serious. I want people to know about the book, so I need to find out everything I can, what it takes to market. But I don't want to burn all that gas. I don't want to get out there. So I want to try that ebook route. I want to try that networking on the internet route. We didn't, and like Neil goes all over. Okay, and he has been promoting me, and now I'm going to do what I do best, and that's run my mouth. So I'm going to try a new season of marketing, which is I'm going to try the internet. I'm sure going to try Facebook and any connections and being out there. Social media is the word for it?
Social media.
What do you think about social media, Neil?
Social media is the newfangled way to market things. Us old fogies, it may come kind of hard for us, but some of these newer kids who are born with a laptop and a smartphone on their lap, so to speak, it just comes natural. Okay?
That's right.
So social media is the new wave of marketing your products on the internet, and everybody needs to learn how to do it if they're serious about promoting themselves or promoting what they have. And it's kind of hard to be a social expert if you're an antisocial person. Like I know a guy who is totally antisocial, does not want to get out and go talk and promote and stuff like that. So that would be kind of hard for him to get accustomed to doing social media if you're antisocial.
Now, see, me, I learned he's real good about when he's at different events and drawing people to his table. Of course, he has a lot of good, interesting topics.
She calls me a carnival barker.
I said, you know what you sound like? Someone told me this a long time ago about himself. He said he used to be, not Neil, but this man in the past said, preacher, he said, I used to be a carnival barker. I said, what's that? He said, I was the one getting everybody's attention. You either wanted to buy something from me, but you were going to hear me until you bought it. Mm-hmm. And that is comfortable for Neil. Hey, we have an author over here.
Hey, come get some free chocolate.
Hey, you want some chocolate? It's free. Come on over. But you know what? It works for him. And I enjoy watching him do that, but I can't do that. So what it really boils down to is you have to find what you're comfortable with. Now, me, Neil, you could book me with anybody that wanted to invite me anywhere, and I could talk all day, as you know.
Right.
I could talk all day about all those true stories I wrote about. But to sit at a table, a retired hairdresser, not used to sitting,
right,
but I'm used to running my mouth, I would rather go talk. You ask me, I go somewhere, if I'm not selling books, I'm talking either about the Writer's Guild of Acadiana or I'm talking about Acadiana Open Channel. I'm talking about what I believe in. And if you believe in your product, you believe in your story, it'll get lost. It'll never be printed or published. So it's up to you what you want to do. As far as children out there, you're never too young, 5 years old. As I was learning to write, I was wanting to start writing down thoughts. And that's how I began to be I call myself a storyteller more than a writer. So, is there any age that's too young or too old, Neil?
No. As long as you can talk and you can dictate a story to your mom and dad, they can write it down. But you can have 7, 8-year-old kids. Well, we know one who started real young.
Lauren Bello.
Now she has, 4 or 5 books out?
Lauren Bello.
If not more.
The youngest Louisiana author.
And the way that works is she can write the story, she can draw her drawings, and her mom or dad can upload it and get it published, and that way they can have money coming in.
And right now, what's really, really big, as we're getting to the end of the show, is that you've got memories. If you have memories, you can take pictures, and you can take those pictures like he did with his dad's war photos, and he made a complete book, a history-type book that has historical pictures in it. Or if you have recipes, hey, you can even take a picture of the recipes, and you can make a book out of that. If you have something you want to save and treasure and send on to the future generations, There's always a way to do it. Well, you've been watching Louisiana Heartbeats, and my guest today is Neil Bertrand, who's a friend and a local publisher here in Lafayette, Louisiana. He has tried to share with you some things that may encourage you. Become the writer that's inside of you. Until then, we'll see you next time.